This morning, I have NSE Alkumi. He's a member of the NPP communications team. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Did you sleep well? You seem a little slow. Everything okay?
Oh, everything
yeah,
okay.
Sure.
I'm usually slow in the morning. You know, I told you.
Oh, you're not an early morning person. We'll give you some niche chocolate drink so you can, relax and wind. We have a lot to talk about this morning.
Sure.
And lawyer Abraham Amaliba is the Director of Legal Affairs for the NDC. He joins us this morning as well. Lawyer, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm okay. Did I hear that the UK government has banned foreign visitors or presidents to their country from using private jets
and helicopters? Yes.
Helicopters.
Yes. For the funeral.
For the funeral, those who are going to come.
Yes.
We in Ghana will say hooray, because in Ghana we have a president who has an insatiable desire for private jets, and that costs us a lot. So I think that some of the chiefs in this country must also emulate the UK government, because again in this country you find the president carrying a chair, using V8. So let our chiefs emulate the example of the UK government by telling the president that if he's going to visit them, he shouldn't come with his chair, because they have chairs. It's an insult to them.
Okay.
The chiefs and pastors, those who he also goes to churches, they have chairs there. When you carry your own chair to those people, it's an insult to those people. Say that they cannot provide you with the chair, or their chairs are filthy, or their chairs are not good.
Is that really the communication, or is it that maybe the president is more concerned, or his security team think that it's better if he takes his chair along?
Oh, how?
Well, for security reasons, for safety reasons, there might be a number of reasons why.
He's not the first president. From the days of Diago de Azambuja, Gordon Gorgeous Beto Nkrumah, which president carries his chairs to the backgrounds.
Okay.
It's very expensive for him to continue doing that.
It's very expensive.
But I'm happy that the UK government has brought this ban. It will help us.
It will. Yeah. And that's what you say. I'll let you touch on this briefly, and then we can move on.
I am not surprised such trivialities coming from him. It is something that is known to the NDC, especially when they are in the opposition. They simply take account of every little thing that the president in power decides. And you can decide to compromise on your own safety. And the fact that you are callous you cannot say the other person must also behave as same. So if the president takes his safety serious and he wants to protect himself wherever he finds himself, I think that's...
So this is a safety matter?
Yeah, safety and security matter.
But we have heard
he
that
can decide to
the chair rides alone in one vehicle. This vehicle is fueled by state resources. I mean, at a point when we're told...
How can a chair ride alone?
Is it true?
How can a chair ride alone?
Is it true? That's why I'm asking you that question, that the chair has its own vehicle.
The president almost every time moves with certain number of security detail. And there are a lot of spaces in these cars. So must the chair necessarily ride alone? No.
So there's a security detail.
Exactly.
But if there was no need to transport this chair, then there won't be a need for that particular vehicle to join, the entourage, would there?
But the security details are part of his entourage. And there's space in that car. So if I can carry my chair, even if I can carry my cup, didn't you see President Mahama moving around with flask? Have we asked ourselves?
It doesn't. Does a flask?
I kept quiet. I watched you.
Lawyer, please. Let me just hold on, lawyer.
Making wild.
Was the flask?
Yes.
Moving in one vehicle.
The content of the flask.
Was it moving in one vehicle with the security?
Don't we have water in the various constituencies? Don't you have water in the various towns? When you visit our people, is it a matter of courtesy for our chiefs and our pastors to serve you water?
Was the flask in one vehicle
you allowed him to make his point.
I'm asking you a question. You have raised
and I have answered you that a chair is not in a separate car. I'm saying that he moves with a security detail.
Okay.
And within these cars, there are spaces to put in whatever that you want. But somebody has exercised the option of carrying a flask of which we don't know the content. We've accepted it. So why can't you accommodate?
We're comparing the flask to the chair. At this point, when we're told that we are in a very dire economic situation, shouldn't we be making sacrifices, including having to fuel an extra vehicle that would carry chairs?
How did you determine that it's an extra vehicle?
Is it not? But you have just said it. That
no, I'm saying that he moves with certain number of security detail. And within this entourage, there are spaces for me to put in my chair and whatever I think that is quite necessary for my protection.
Okay.
And you are calling that an extra vehicle, and I'm saying that's wrong.
That's wrong.
That's
wrong. It is not an extra vehicle.
It's not an extra vehicle.
I see. But at this point, when we're making sacrifices, should we not be cutting down on some of these things?
When you see
if there's space, can't the other security join this vehicle?
The ambulance you see to be part of the president's entourage, is it an extra vehicle?
But an ambulance is needed.
Exactly.
An ambulance is needed. Do we need a car for a chair?
We need the car for the security entourage.
Okay, we hear you.
So whatever I put in there, whether they are my shoes, my clothes, why do you call that an extra vehicle?
So Bella, it is assumed that the president will not go to UK because they are saying that because of security reasons,
Bella, I don't think it's fair. If you start a show on this news,
no,
Ernest, hold on.
Hold on. He's just asking a question. This is not what we're going to discuss, but this is something he has brought up.
It
is fair to allow me to make my point. He decided.
Let's move on, gentlemen. Let's move on, gentlemen. So about a week or so ago, we heard from President John Dramani Mahama at a legal conference that was organized for the NDC. It was the NDC Lawyers Conference on the 28th of August. And he made some statements indicating that it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in a situation where the judiciary has lost, its value to an extent because of the perception that people have about the judiciary and the fact that even when you have a case and you go to them, you're not sure if this case will go in your favor, especially when there's politics at play. Now, the Attorney General was not too happy with this statement. And yesterday, at the National Legal Council event that took place in Ho, he had to take a bite on that. He wasn't the only one. The president also had a lot to say about this. Let's listen to the Attorney General, Godfrey Dame, as he spoke about this matter and exactly what he said.
Dismay and embarrassment that I heard a person who has occupied the highest office of state, former President John Mahama, recently launched an unwarranted attack on the integrity of Ghana's judiciary. And I observed that this was really the latest installment of systematic and caustic attacks on our court by the former president, albeit unjustified. And I'm compelled to comment on same in this address because they border on the security of the state and constitute a deliberate pattern of conduct aimed at undermining the independence of the judiciary, an arm of government whose autonomy is crucial to its proper functioning. Such conduct is clearly deplorable, coming from one who has occupied the highest office of president and aspires again to that office. I must, however, commend the former president for one thing: his contribution to a debate on the need for constitutional reform. His views on the need to amend Article 71 on the payment of emoluments to certain office holders are of interest to me. Never mind the fact that he has been enjoying those same facilities and privileges for over 20 years and continues to enjoy them.
So that is Godfrey Dame, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and he was speaking at the Ghana Bar Association's annual conference on Monday, and that's what he had to say about that comment that was made by former President John Dramani Mahama. Yesterday, Alfred Okansi sat with him on Ghana Tonight, and I'm talking about former President John Dramani Mahama, and he responded to what was said by the Attorney General. Listen to that as well.
I was making a call to action that we should do something to change that perception. Why can that be imprudent? I didn't put the judiciary where it is.
Shares haven't occupied
the last Afro-Barometer. No, so if you occupy a high office of the land, you shouldn't speak the truth. Is that what it means? Do we believe that if we go to the courts, we'll get justice? We hear every day, instances of perverted justice and all that. And recently, the Chief Justice himself, in a statement read for him by Justice Doche, raised some of these same issues himself. And I will applaud him for it because I had said in my statement that I had lost faith in the current leadership to be able to do anything about reforming it. And I hope that a new Chief Justice will do that. But since then, he's made this statement that Justice Doche did. And I saw some positive jewels in it, that he was calling judges, to dispense justice freely and fairly, transparently, so that people will feel, that confidence to go to the judiciary, because the judiciary is the last arbiter. We can disagree, we can have quarrels in parliament and everything. Eventually, when we are unable to agree, we all go to the justice system. And we must, have confidence that it will do so fairly, and it will do so according to the law and in the public interest. That's all I was saying.
All right, so former President John Dramani Mahama there speaking on this matter. In fact, the president also spoke on it, and I'll quote what he said. He said that there are some who have made it their political agenda to disparage systematically the image of the judiciary for selfish, parochial, partisan reasons. And he noted that this, his legal challenge of the election results in 2013 did not spark any criticism, and so he's wondering why these statements are being made at this point. Also joining us this morning is Bernard Mona, former chairman of the PNC, People's National Convention. Good morning to you.
Good morning,
How are you
Bella.
doing?
I could have been better.
What is not making you better this morning?
This vanquished economy can never make any young person any better. You wake up thinking how you are going to survive the day. And when you wake up and you check your electricity bill, you check your water bill, you check the amount of money you have to use to buy fuel to move up and down, then you realize that this economy has been totally destroyed by President Akufo-Addo and his MPP regime. So you wake up a frustrated person, and no one that is frustrated can say that your day is any good.
Well, they say they are working on it, which is why
well, they've been working on it for a considerable time, and all we have realized is that we keep sinking low and low and low.
Anyway.
And unfortunately, they don't appreciate the fact that we are this low. Anytime you talk about it, they come and spit in your face that GDP has grown. Anytime you talk about it, then they come and use some economic mantra and jargons. We are feeling something different from their so-called gross domestic product, which gross domestic product is not owned by the government of Ghana or the people of Ghana. It is owned by those who have brought in their capital, and they carry it away soon after it has been harvested. So what is this everyday noise about GDP when that GDP has no reflection whatsoever on the lives of the people of Ghana?
All right. Let's move into the matter at stake at the moment. And I want to start with you, Mr. Bernard Mona, because the Attorney General says that those statements that were made by former President John Dramani Mahama were deplorable, they were needless. The President says that those were disparaging remarks that were made, and they were needless at this point. What do you say?
I've just said that President Akufo-Addo is a bad manager of the economy. How is that needless? He is the head of our nation, and he appoints the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice, for the fact that the Constitution says that the judiciary should remain neutral and independent, does not mean that they are not human beings. The judges are human beings. They come from within us. And we have known some of them. We have been to school with some of them. We have eaten with them. We have done all manner of things with them. And we know their level of integrity and moral turpitude. And so the fact that you have become a judge does not change the character traits that you have. And this is what PLO Lumumba says, that if you have a dunderhead and that dunderhead wins election or is appointed into a position, that does not change the fact that he simply has nothing occupying his head. He will remain the same person. So the fact that we know these people, we have sat in class with some of them, and we know that they have not become the quality persons that we want because they were corrupt when we were with them. They did things that were dishonest. And so it is not only when they become judges that they will now transform suddenly to become honest people. And so this is our society, and we know some of them. So the fact that we speak about the ills means that we want those ills to be corrected. You don't want us to come and say that everything is nice. Bella, when I come here and you say everything is nice about me, then you turn around and I'm not wearing socks. It means that something is wrong. You should point out the fact that something is not fully right. And for me then to correct it. And so if we cannot point out the ills in our judiciary and the perception, in any case, I do not think that it is President Mahama who said so. Why are they not condemning the Afrobarometer report and the people who did it? Because they came out with it and said that, look, perception in the judiciary is very low. And that Ghanaians do not expect that when they go to court, they can get justice. It is not today. We have seen in videos and revelations by Anas Arimiyahu Anas, where goats have been pulled to judges and they have taken it and then they have changed judgments. That one too, President Mahama said so. So when you see all these things and you come and talk about it, and they say don't talk about it, and I heard Alfredo Kansi saying that, why, you are a leader. Didn't Jesus Christ go to the synagogue and whip those who were desecrating his father's house?
But the Attorney General says that former President Mahama is not a lawyer. And for all the lawyers who were at this NDC lawyers conference, for former President Mahama to make such disparaging remarks about their institution, and not one person was able to voice out their opposition
they believe
on
same
this
to be
particular
true.
statement.
They believe same to be true. We see political cases. Why? Answer Asare, former director of the law school, says that, look, we can trust the judiciary only when it is not about political issues. Is he a lawyer? Was he not the director of the Ghana Law School? When he made those pronouncements, that means that because he is not well clothed in the legal gymnastics or arena, it means that he cannot make those statements. When the Chief Justice himself made these statements, that means that the Chief Justice is no longer a lawyer. And that is how come he can call on judges to dispense justice in a manner that will ensure that people build confidence in the judiciary. So you see, when you have judges go to court, books that those same judges wrote, and tell you about what you should look for, the tenets of the law, and then you go and present that same argument before, that, look, you wrote this book, and we are supposed to learn the book so that we can qualify to become lawyers. And this is your position on the law. And we come and read that thing to you, and you go in your judgment and go and invalidate what you have written. Where is the moral turpitude there? So let no one sit anywhere and kid that we are living in a pious world where the judiciary is sacrosanct. I can tell you that no one is absent of this matter. And I think that, look, former President Mahama probably said it in a soft manner. Look, if the judiciary continue to do the things the way they do, they, rather than any other institution, will break the back of this country. Look, this is our country. The law of Ghana says, for instance, that to qualify as a voter, you must be a Ghanaian. You must be of 18 years of age. You must be of sound mind. Who is a Ghanaian? A Ghanaian is not somebody who has a passport or a Ghana card. My citizenship is not based on my possession of a Ghana card or a passport. So if the Electoral Commission comes to, or people come to court and say that the Electoral Commission want to determine who will qualify to be on a voter's roll, and the court refused to understand that I must be a citizen of Ghana, and my citizenship is not dependent on documents like Ghana card and passport.
But dependent on what?
It's dependent on my parentage. And the law is clear that you must be born of a Ghanaian parentage. And the Constitution is clear that, look, if any of your parents or grandparents is, underline is, or was a Ghanaian, what does that mean to say was? You are a Ghanaian. Any Ghanaian or any child found in Ghana less than 7 years without any parentage is a Ghanaian. So we know what qualifies you to be a Ghanaian. So if you come and tell me that before I can go into the voters' roll, I must hold a Ghana card. If I don't have, does that change the status that I'm a Ghanaian? And the courts go and rule that, and you come and say that I should applaud for that. No, that may not be law. Common sense will tell you that, hey, some of these things that we say, it must sit with us, because my being a citizen is because my parents are Ghanaians, not because I possess. Look, what is the purpose of a passport? To travel? To enable me exit and come into the country. So that now determines my citizenship. So many of my people in Sankana don't have passports because they don't think that they will travel. You just started the Ghana card recently. All right? My child is older than the Ghana card, so how can that determine my citizenship?
Okay.
And so these things are common sense. And if you are saying that because there's something called law, there is no common sense any longer, then I can forgive you.
Let me bring Ernest in, because, you know, the minority or the NDC are saying that of all the places that you could make this statement, it shouldn't have been at the Ghana Bar Association's conference. That was not the place to make some of these statements and also sort of look like you are also, settling your personal scores, which is what it looked like when the Attorney General lashed out at former President John Dramani Mahama. Do you agree?
I disagree with them. Where else is it important for you to speak about the Bible than a conference of pastors? We are talking about law, and this is a conference of lawyers. So if you want to talk about law and society, where do you talk about it? Certainly not the chop bar or the restaurant, but you speak about it where lawyers and stakeholders have gathered to speak about law. So when you want to strengthen society or you want to strengthen institutions of society, these are definitely the places to talk about it. Secondly, too, I think it is quite preposterous for anybody to think that bastardizing the court is the same as criticizing the court. No, it's not the same.
What's the difference? The
difference is that the court itself has put in place structures that makes provision for mistakes that the court makes. Therefore, over the periods of life or even over history, you could tell that certain people have always made comments about the court. So you can criticize the court constructively by speaking about the substance of it. And like I said, the structures of the court even makes provision for appeals and reviews of the decisions of the court. So if anybody sits anywhere and conjecture that the court or seemingly people are making points that the court needs not to be criticized, that's not true. But it's an issue of you bastardizing the court and making disparaging comments about the court, which invariably will turn out to destroy or cause people to lose confidence in the court. And I think that if President Mahama had made these comments genuinely, where we all do not know that his comment is hinged on certain decisions that the court has made concerning his interests, I think a lot of people would have shown concern that, yes, as an ex-president, probably there is a case or a basis for him to make those comments.
When you say he didn't make it genuinely, he referred to the Afrobarometer report and the perception that Ghanaians had about the judiciary. Is that not genuine enough?
No. His comment at the time he made it was not based on the Afrobarometer. From the time that the court dispensed the case that the NDC made against the Electoral Commission and President Akufo-Addo, he made similar comments. His associates, lawyers like Dr. Ahini and others have also made similar comments. Now, for me, the crux of the matter is that President Mahama feels pained from the decisions of the court. And therefore, whatever comment that he made will be judged in that context. Because one, I feel that he feels that the objective of going to the court was not achieved. What was his objective of going to the court? He has told that categorically that he went to the court to prevent violence from his youth or the youth of the NDC. And for him to turn back and feel pained that his objective was not met or rather was destroyed by the court, I think he doesn't really have to this point come and criticize or bastardize the court for the same action. Because if you had gone there for the right purposes, you would have received the right response. Why do I say so? Right from the case that President Mahama filed, you could tell that the respondent made a case that, look, they don't think that the case that President Mahama had made discloses any course of action. And all the issues that were set out to be determined by the court was invariably trashed by the court. And the fact that the court unanimously decided to throw out the decision does not only indicate that the case was grossly incompetent, but it also shows a grand collusion by President Mahama and his NDC to deceive followers of the NDC and unsuspecting citizens of this country.
That's what it meant.
That's what it meant.
And not the fact that there are also concerns that President Akufo-Addo may have also aligned himself with, chief justices. And out of respect, I'm saying this. I'm not in any way indicating that's what has happened. That he has surrounded himself with justices of the court who have the same political interest as he does. And so if any issue should come up against him, then they will do it in favor of him and not the other person.
If you want to make that argument, you need to juxtapose that with the facts of the matter.
Okay.
Many people have sought to compare the election petition of 2020 to that of 2013. But there's a big difference between the two cases, and you can never compare. This is a case that their star witness, according to AC Educatia, they were not there to validate the results of the election, but they were rather there to put out the errors that were in the declarations that were made by the Electoral Commissioner. And that is more within the remit of administrative law. So if you read the judgment of the court expressly states that, look, if you come to the court and you are seeking to enforce your right under Article 23
296, 63.3, and 63.4, then the way you put up your case, you should have better gone under administrative law where you are seeking to enforce the decision of an administrator. Because 23 is talking about where you find yourself in an administrative position and you are exercising a discretionary power. You should be fair about it. 296 also deals with the same discretionary power. So if you are saying that the electoral commissioner finds herself in a place where she has erred or she has errors in her decision, then you should rather have a case against her and not to come under election petition.
Okay.
You understand? So you cannot put this against the relations or the fact that President Akufo-Addo had the opportunity to appoint justices of the Supreme Court. At every point in time, the president of the day will have the opportunity to appoint judges to the Supreme Court. Are you saying that in the unlikely event, if President Mahama finds himself in power in the foreseeable future and he has the opportunity to appoint justices of the Supreme Court, we should disobey them, we should bastardize them because he had the opportunity to appoint them to the Supreme Court? No.
But that's what making all these
comments. As a former
comments.
president of this republic, he has the ultimate responsibility and the fiduciary duty to make sure that these institutions are protected. Many people will always cite other people, but the difference is that these persons have not had the opportunity to occupy the #1 position of the state. So he has that fiduciary duty towards us as a people to ensure that these institutions are respected and they keep their sanctity and integrity together as possible. But if you have no base and you turn out to just bastardize them for no reason, then obviously that's perverse.
But are we not concerned about Ghanaians and their perception about the judiciary at the moment as well? Because then the Afrobarometer comes to play here where they're saying that we don't even trust in the judiciary at the moment. Even if we're making a statement about what former President Mahama said, and you're saying that that was even probably personal according to you, what about Ghanaians and what they think about the judiciary? Are you not worried about fixing that as well?
What we Ghanaians think about judiciary is there. The Chief Justice, as President Mahama pointed out in his recent interview, had also made comments about it. That's why I distinguish between criticizing the judiciary and bastardizing the judiciary. So if we have concerns about the judiciary and want to make statements about it, it's a genuine cause for the judiciary to resolve. But you cannot go to the court with an objective that you know that is perverse and expect that the court will show you mercy by granting you some of those relief.
Okay.
Because that's why I pointed out his objective of going to the court. That's not coming from me. He said it, that he went to the court to avoid violence from the youth of his party.
Okay.
So if you go to the court with such an objective, that's why Godfred Odame is telling him that the court is not a mercy chamber to dispense cases based on emotions, sympathies, and what have you.
Okay.
So he ought to understand that if you go there with a case that is premised on law, you will get a judgment that you desire.
Okay.
But if other people...
Land on this for me.
Okay. If other people have reasons and cause not to believe the court and they have genuine case to put it across, why not? It is welcome. And I'm sure the head of the judiciary will also make sure that these reforms that we need are put in place accordingly.
Lawyer, the Attorney General was asking a question yesterday, and he says that why were you all silent, the NDC lawyers who were at the NDC, law conference? Why were you all silent when former President Mahama made this statement? Because then inadvertently you are arbiters of the propagation of hate against the judiciary. What do you say to that?
Does Godfrey Dami know what an abetor is? An abetor abets crime. What crime did the former president commit? I'll send the Attorney General to school. What crime did he commit? If you are abetting a crime. So what crime did the former president commit? Look.
He says this is hate against the judiciary.
Look. Attorney General Godfrey Dami, did he know that at the time he was making those shameful comments and spent 10 minutes of his time talking about the former president's comments at our conference, did he know that the chief attacker of the judiciary was sitting before him? And who is this chief attacker of the judiciary? Nana Akufo-Addo. When he described the Supreme Court ruling as perverse, before I came here, I had to check what perverse means. It means that unreasonable. So when he told the Supreme Court Nana Akufo-Addo, as it then was, is that the Supreme Court was unreasonable. At that time, did Akufo-Addo think that what he was doing, he was engaged in acts that are to serve his parochial interest? I'm now asking him because he also says that somebody is doing that for his parochial interest. Akufo-Addo, I'm asking you now. When you attacked the Supreme Court and described the ruling of the Supreme Court as unreasonable, were you doing that to advance your parochial interest? Look, I know. If you don't know, I know that anytime Mahama speaks, the government catches cold. That is a given. If these statements were made by any other person, and he has pointed out people who have made those comments, such comments, you don't find the whole establishment in sixes and sevens. Look, Attorney General Godfrey Dame has become a divisive character.
How so? Under
him, a section of the lawyers don't feel safe to be with the bar.
They don't feel safe to be with the bar because of the Attorney General?
I am telling you, yes.
What role will he have played in this then?
The Attorney General doesn't miss the point anytime he has a platform to attack lawyers who are ideologically linked with the NDC. He did it in Bolga when the bar conference last year happened in Bolga. He's done it here in the Volta region.
How did he attack you?
Oh my God.
Lawyer, how did he attack you? He was just asking a question that why did you all not speak up during the conference when former President Mahama made that statement? Is that what you're referring to as an attack?
When an Attorney General in Bolga said that, there are a group of lawyers who have the penchant of attacking the Supreme Court, and that they are more inclined to their political persuasion than the profession. Is that an attack?
How is that an attack?
Oh, stop that. When you were talking, I could have asked those irrelevant questions. What's one attack by that? Me, a lawyer. I went to my law school. He never paid school fees for me. Then you, as an Attorney General, just by the stroke of a pen, you become an Attorney General. You go onto the platform and say that I am connected to my political party than the profession in which I profess to be. And you say that we have a penchant of attacking the judiciary. And you tell me that that's not an attack. So I am saying that Attorney Generals have come and gone. The Obeda came. They've gone. The Joe Gatis came and left. In recent times, Marita Brew appear upon. I know you like her. Very nice, humble lady.
You know I like her.
I know that.
How do you know I like her?
Yes, because she's humble, nice lady.
Are you forcing someone on me now?
You get a point. You have better more
because he knows that you are humble and you are nice.
You get a point. All these people have come and gone. Martin Amidu has come and gone. Never.
What do you mean by Martin Amidu?
No, Martin Amidu is a vibrant and activist lawyer. So even him, who is an activist lawyer, has come and gone. Never have we ever seen that any of these fine lawyers have taken the platform of the General Legal, the Bar Conference, to attack a section of the bar. But this is the modus operandi of this Attorney General. And it's becoming one too many, and I think that, look, did Mahama say that he was making that point because his petition was thrown out of the Supreme Court? Listen to him, and I was there. This is what he said. In recent times, this election petition was in 2020. In recent times, when the statement is made that go to court, it is met with some mockery and laughter. Just to paraphrase what he said.
Yeah.
And then he cited the 7-0 or 7-0. People make mockery of. Unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Was that at the 2020? It was when people decided that they were no longer, as it were, having confidence in the judiciary. They now started coining all these things. And then what is he saying? What is the former president saying? There is a report, a survey. Can we, as a people, look at the survey and bring about reform? He talked about reform. If this is a person who was bastardizing the institution, he won't talk about reforms. Why? Why didn't the Attorney General use that same platform to attack Kandapa? Which one is more serious? Kandapa, who looked at judges in their faces, like, I'm looking at you direct, and told them that their judgments going one way would lead to what is it?
Let me just read what he said, if you're okay with it. So he said that national security will be okay. Wait, hold on.
It's a national security threat.
Yes, yes.
I don't need this. Read it.
Okay, again. I was going to read it for you.
Yes, I've gotten it.
Okay.
You see, it's a national security threat.
But Frank Davis, criticized him for this statement that he made.
I'm saying that we are talking about the bar. We are talking about the bar conference. What happened there?
So you think that he should have also been criticized there?
Attack the national security minister? Why? This selective amnesia that the Attorney General is suffering from must be condemned in no
Could it be that because there were some people internally who had already criticized him for the statement that he made, and that's why I'm saying that
why?
Frank Davis criticized him for that statement and said that it was not
when we came back from
Ada,
when we came back from Ada, didn't we hear the entire society polarized? Some condemn what Mahama said and some supporting him. Didn't we hear a former Court of Appeal judge criticize what he said? So if there was already enough criticisms, and for that matter, he didn't want to single out Kandapa, on the same basis, he shouldn't have also singled out John Mahama because he also had his fair share of criticisms.
Okay.
I am saying that the bar has now become polarized. Whether you like it or not, it has become polarized. You don't find it in other professions, but it is now in the lawyers' front.
How do we fix this?
We can only fix it if the Attorney General,
and when he's no more Attorney General,
if the Attorney General decides to sober.
That's how we can.
He's hawkish. That Attorney General is hawkish.
Okay.
Unless he sobers down and decides that, let me talk to all these people in such a way as to bring the group together. But as it is now, I am telling you, the bar, the conference, is divided. There's always going to be a group that is bold enough to call itself NDC Lawyers Conference, and there's going to be a group that does the bidding of the MPP, but it's not bold enough to call itself MPP Lawyers.
Okay. One of the reforms that former President John Dramani Mahama mentioned was the fact that we would need a new Chief Justice if we want to recover that sunken image of the judiciary at the moment. Is that really the solution? Are we saying that our current Chief Justice cannot fix this problem?
Yes, so that was because there were no signs of that coming from the the current Chief Justice. There were no signs of that. Of
him trying to repair the broken image of the judiciary.
But you heard the former president yesterday, and Bernard has alluded to a statement which was read on his behalf, where he admonished Commonwealth judges and lawyers that their judgments should be in such a way as to engender confidence in the judiciary. So the former president himself yesterday applauded him.
Yeah.
So it is doable. Your question is it doable now? Is it doable now?
Okay.
If we put our minds to. But nobody in the NDC is against the judiciary. What we are pointing out is lapses, which needs amending.
Okay.
And so if these lapses are amended, clearly we'll have a judiciary with no problems.
Are you not exposing this judiciary to political assassination like yesterday Justice Jones Doche said? He says that with the way you're criticizing us, you're exposing us, and we could go back to the 1982 situation where judges can just be picked up and killed, because we are also painting them badly. Yes, we're painting them badly in the political light. Let lawyer respond. I'll let you respond to this. Hold on.
Some other people have come to create loot and share. Is he not exposing the political class
to assassination? I'll let you come to it. Let me just hear from lawyer quickly on this.
I see.
The respected Justice Doche's comment was far-fetched. What people are doing is pointing out, the Afrobarometer report, is it also exposing the judges? There's a national security document which also touch on the judiciary. Is it also exposing the judges to such things? No. There is this perception from some people that if you don't mention it, if you don't mention it, nobody will know. But that is a very, very dangerous situation. That because we don't talk about it, that means people don't know. No. Let me give you an example. For instance, you heard judges bought some vehicles. There's a saying that if something emanates from outside into your house, don't think that you're the only one who knows it. The only thing that you think that you are the only one who knows and you may be safe is if it emanates from your bedroom. Those cars were driven by people. Those cars were serviced by people, ordinary people. Those cars, when they were driven to their homes, a garden boy opened the gate or a gate man opened the gate. So if the former president doesn't speak, you think these people will not speak? So it is dangerous to say that if people are speaking, you are exposing them. It's rather when people are speaking, an opportunity is given to mend the fences.
Okay.
And I agree with the Chief Justice when he made that statement that, look, let our judgment engender confidence in the public. Okay. That for me is the way to go, and not what Godfrey Dami did yesterday.
Bernard, what do you say to this statement? He says that let's be careful, and he's talking about members of the bar, senior politicians. Let's be circumspect in the comments that we make about the judiciary so that judges are not made targets of political assassination.
My father once told me that if any of your relative dies, particularly the loved ones, and you pretend or you go about saying people have heard about the death of your relative and they come to mourn with you and you say, no, the person is not dead because you love the person so much. And so you don't want to agree and admit that the person is dead. And then they come, because you are not mourning, they walk away. But it will not be long. The stench from the rot will expose the fact that the person is rotten and you yourself cannot stand it. And that is the time you'll be admitting that the person is dead. It will be too late. Sometimes you may not even be able to even now give the person the befitting barrier or farewell you want to give. If our judiciary is rotten and we are failing to say it because when we say it, as Justice Doche put it, it will lead to what he described as assassination, then the comments of some of the judges lead to assassination of some individuals. Because if he comes to say that, look, politicians have, our system is being put in place to create loot and share, and you are in government, and society sees you that, oh, you people have come to create loot and share, has the judiciary not exposed you to that kind of attacks? He made that comment. People sang about it. Today, it's no more create, loot, and share. It is that they have carried everything. They are no more sharing. They have gone to keep it in their family house. The same judge is no more talking about them. The situation we find today, compared with the time that he made that statement, you realize that if we are talking about fraud, we are talking about corruption, it has been magnified in many folds. And so, yes, look, let us all sit up and point out where we are wrong. The judges and the judiciary cannot claim piety. The executive cannot claim piety. Parliament has been criticized, and Parliament itself criticized itself. Some members of Parliament have raised questions about the way the House and businesses are conducted, that they are being influenced. And so if Parliament itself admits they have institutional corrections, and my brother said, why? There are internal mechanisms to correct the defects of the judiciary. Which institution don't have their own internal mechanisms and structure to correct the ills of that institution? And yet, we go about to audit and expose them. The executive has a way to correct the ills of the executive. The legislature have a way to correct their own ills. Similarly, the judiciary have, but because those things have proved incompetent of handling the situation, the rest of us must be engaged to condemn them when we have to condemn them and praise them where we have to praise them. And so when we condemn and you say that we have bastardized them, if it means that we should bastardize them for them to do the right thing, then bastardization is a good thing.
Is it the conference where he spoke that's the problem? Would it have made any difference if the Attorney General
Why was he attacking somebody for expressing his opinion? The opinion that Godfrey Dami expressed, that is his opinion. So John Mahama also expressed his opinion.
But he says that's a top official who also benefited from all this when he was in power. So how is it that now you're suddenly speaking against
if John Mahama benefited from something that is wrong, and today he sees that what he benefited from was wrong, it should not be carried on, he is stopped from speaking about it. Is that what the system is all about? That, oh, John Mahama and the NDC did some things wrong yesterday, so we are justified to come and continue those wrongs?
If the 2020 election petition went in favor of the NDC, would he have made this statement?
I don't know about that. You are asking me to conjecture into something that has not happened.
That's the concern that people are having about this.
When the 2012 petition did not go the way of Akufo-Addo, did he make similar statements? If it had gone in his favor, would he have made the statements that he made, including the fact that the judiciary was perverse?
He never said that.
That was a Chikata case.
Do you understand?
So tell him.
Can I make my point?
Because he never made any statement like that in 2013. That's the fact. So, this is not in contention.
Okay.
So could he have made those statements about the judiciary in the manner that he did? So he wouldn't have. So now that Akufo-Addo is president, he now sees that the judiciary is a clean house, right? No, there is no clean house within. And as I said, we eat with some of these judges. Some of them are actually our relatives. We know their character from home. Or you don't know so?
I don't know them personally.
No, I know some.
I cannot say
some we grew up from the same house. And if you ask me to vouch, I'll tell you their character traits.
And so some of these people should not have been in the
some of them, by knowing their character traits, you know that, look, where they are, those character traits will not depart from them. If you are glutton from home, you cannot hide it in public.
Anyway.
You see, the MPP keep making some
I wanted
some
him to come
comments,
in, but we have to take a break.
Some comments about the 2020 election petition. Our case at the Supreme Court was not like their case in 2012.
How different was it?
We were challenging the constitutionality of the declaration.
Okay.
And said that when you look at the declaration itself, it does not give any of the parties 50+1.
Okay.
That was the nature of our case. But they keep saying that we've not gone there with pink sheets, we've not gone. Why? Must our case be like your case?
But they're saying that even the numbers that you were challenging, if that had even been overturned,
but if the woman had entered the witness box, just as Afarijan willingly entered the witness box, these matters would have come out.
But that was to the discretion of the.
I don't want to talk about the court. I don't want to talk about the court. So I'm just making this point to show them that everybody goes to court based on what is his or her problem. Probably they stole your dog and you went to court. Me, it will be my foul and I go to court.
Be careful.
Then you go and say that there's a reason why I say it's a dog. Now you go and say that. You go and say that. When you were going to court, yours was not a dog matter. Why didn't you go to court with a dog?
Because
can you imagine?
The dog is
so it's not because your election petition was porous. They said it was dead upon arrival.
That's why I want to tell them that we didn't go there piling pink sheets and telling the court that people who went onto the and sweat.
Okay. Kongo, let me let NS speak quickly and then we can take that break so we can move on. NS wants to speak. No, but I have to give him the chance. You've all spoken twice. So allow him to speak.
When I was speaking,
now former President John Dramani Mahama says that the only way we can fix this is if we change the Chief Justice or if we get a new Chief Justice. What do you say to that?
That in itself is perverse because it is quite targeting the Chief Justice, and it also takes us back to the fact that he's pained from the decisions of the court. Now, if President Mahama is speaking from this perspective, the reason why I find it quite surprising that some members of the NDC actually think that the fact that this is coming from President Mahama, we should support it, and the fact that the Afro Barometer survey has made comments concerning the judiciary
then obviously they can just come behind the Afrobarometer survey and bastardize the court. No, you cannot do that. Because the truth of the matter is that the purpose of which you went to the court, your objective, like he said, it's not the same as the reason why Nana Akufo-Addo and Jacob Obeche-Bilamte and Dr. Bawumia went to court. It's not the same. He said what? They went to court to what? Decide on the constitutionality of the declaration of the result, which has to do with Madam Jane Mensah as the electoral commissioner. Yeah. Now, the court even described the witnesses that they called with regard to this issue as fanciful witnesses. Because why? The case they were making was that the electoral commissioner corrected errors that were part of the declaration without the presence of their agent. But the question that begs for answer is that, you see, the independence of the electoral commission is established by law. And it is vested with the authority that, no, it is not subject with the controls or the direction of any person. You understand? So at what point is the commissioner of the electoral commission subject to the control of your agent, this fanciful witness that you called at court? So you can't bring in a grossly incompetent case at the court and expect that there will be a giveaway for you to console your party people.
But that is why Godfrey Odami is saying that it is not a messy chamber. When she's making that declaration, there should be reps from all parties.
Come again?
When she's making that declaration,
Aisha chamber.
There should be reps from all parties present at that moment.
When she was making the declaration.
Yes. Should there not be reps from all parties present at that moment when she is?
You can decide to be there or not. You are an appointee of your party. So what if, as we sit here, he can exercise the option of getting up and leave? Is it subject to your control? No. That is why I've stated the law that the Electoral Commission's independence is guaranteed by law. And it is not subject to the whims and caprices of any one person.
Would you be speaking the same language if your rep was not there and a declaration was made and it went against your party?
If our rep was not there, we're going to hold him responsible. You understand? We've appointed you to be there just for the purposes of vigilance. Okay. So if you decide to derelict your duty and move away from that duty, whose is it to own up for you?
Okay.
It is an act of irresponsibility on your part and towards your party faithful. Yes. So you cannot conjecture and call the...
That I agree with you.
Bernard, you can decide not to decide.
He says he agrees with you.
No,
you don't want him to agree with you.
Wait, when he gets to that, he can make his point. But the truth...
With our biscuits.
the truth of the matter is that, you see, Amaliba sits here and calls himself bold, confident group of NDC lawyers. So if Godfrey Odami says that, look, you are committed to your political persuasion more than your commitment towards the judiciary or your practice of the law. No, hold on.
How is that?
You said you guys are...
He said that the Attorney General is making it so divisive.
He said that Attorney General had made the statement that some persons are committed to their political persuasions more than to the bar.
And he said that
that is an attack.
And he says that is the reason why the Attorney General has contributed to the division.
And that is so wrong. He has sat here himself and boldly declared that there are confident group of NDC lawyers. Didn't he say that? He said it.
Okay, lawyer, hold on. Let him make his point.
He's proud of it. He's declaring that he's part of it, and he's happy that he's part of the NDC lawyers. Who is grouping him into that category? It's not he himself. When they went into that conference of NDC lawyers, who called them to be there? They themselves call. So you yourself have decided that you are putting yourself into a bunch of groups that can be described as NDC.
Do you not have an MPP lawyers group as well?
No, we don't have.
You don't.
We don't.
They have.
You don't.
We don't. Not.
Bella,
you see. Okay. You see. Can you just?
I have to go on a break. Bella. So I thought you were landing on this. That's why I said I'll let him come in.
No, I'm not landing on this. Please.
Okay. My time is that we have to go on a break so we can continue with the rest of the show. Welcome back. Very heated conversation, of course, about the statements that were made by former President John Dramani Mahama and subsequently by the Attorney General, the President, and the response again by former President John Dramani Mahama. In the studios, I have NS Yakumi. He speaks on behalf of the NPP. We have Mr. Bernard Mona, former chairman of...
Whose party is in power but he's in opposition?
No, he means NS
who's only speaking on one side of the topic against two people speaking on.
It's not against two people. There's a neutral arbiter here, please.
No.
Bernard Mona is the former chairman of the PNC, and lawyer Abraham Omaliba is the director of legal affairs for the NDC. Let me let you land on your points, but please make it brief.
Yeah, so Bella, let me clarify this. At no point did President Akufo-Addo in 2013 made any statement after the election petition.
But you already made that statement.
No. Bernard did. Oh, relax.
When I was speaking, you
interjected and said you corrected him actually.
No.
So I didn't.
What that means is that he doesn't have anything.
You
doesn't have anything more to add.
I just want us to understand that President Akufo-Addo, after the 2013 election petition, did actually made a statement, and in nowhere within his statement would you find any comment that sought to bastardize the court. And for me, that's what we are speaking about. For even Omaliba to call President Akufo-Addo out on the statement with regards to the Chikata case in terms of whether he made a statement of the decision of the court being perverse. You see, even at that time, he had...
Please allow him, please. Please.
Okay, I now remember. It's even more deadly.
Bernard, please hold on.
You cannot compare even him then, his status then, to his status now, or even the status of President Mahama now.
Okay.
Secondly, the statement he made was reference to the decision of the court, in line with his disagreement with the decision of the court. So if he made even that statement then, you cannot put that in context to what President Mahama is saying, calling out that the Chief Justice must be changed when he actually knows the procedure for replacing a Chief Justice. You understand? When you are the former president and you are actually at this point in time suggesting that the Chief Justice should be changed just because you think that a decision was given that was not in your favor, or there was a unanimous decision to throw out your grossly incompetent case that was presented to the court.
Okay.
Secondly...
He has explained, by the way. He has explained.
Yeah, I'm going
on Ghana Tonight, he explained that, of course, he understands the system. And he's not saying change him immediately. But he knows that if another administration...
If you know he cannot be changed immediately, why even suggest that?
He can be changed by the next administration.
No, he can resign.
So wait for your time to even make that... When you preempt the process, would anybody accept the outcome?
Okay.
That's the point.
No,
just
let... No. We don't have time.
Bella. But you say you're giving me the opportunity to...
But you made the 2 points.
No, this is just one...
You made the 2 points. Please, if there's time, I'll give you the chance. Let's be fair to each other.
You are even arguing with him on grounds that are not solid. President Mahama never said they should change the Chief Justice. He said that there should be reforms, and he hopes that the next Chief Justice...
No, he said this Chief Justice cannot...
I'll pull up the statement. Lawyer, you speak.
Now, the most important thing is...
It doesn't matter how long the next man takes.
Okay, gentlemen, please. We don't have time.
Since when has the NDC become an outlawed organization? Such that if lawyers decide to associate with the NDC, it becomes a problem.
As anybody said so.
What is the problem?
As anybody says
What is the problem if lawyers, who are also Palm 1 tappers, decide to meet to discuss their business of Palm 1 typing? Is there anything wrong with that? So why would our Attorney General say that we are more committed to our political party than the profession?
A statement of fact.
Just because, and that's why I asked the question, is the NDC an outlaw organization? Has NDC suddenly become an Al-Qaeda? Said that it is wrong to associate with the NDC? Look, you were asking him of the declaration and whether there were party agents. When Jim Mensah decided to do the correction, which party agent was there? I end my case.
But we've heard from Roger Metonunu, and he explained why he was absent at that point.
I am saying, no, we are talking about after the declaration, he made corrections.
Okay.
She made corrections.
Okay.
In fact, you know the numbers keep changing, and they change like transmogrified like 5 times. After today, we don't know the figures that were used to declare the elections. And you say that is not an issue for us to be talking about.
Is that what
okay, let's quickly change the topic, Coco, if there's time. We'll just allow them to speak on that briefly, and then we'll come on in. Yesterday, the president was speaking as well, and in fact, he has charged the Attorney General to prosecute Aisha Huang. And let me just read a bit of what he said. I can assure you that I am fully in support of the intended prosecution of the Galamsey Queen and her accomplices who continue to flout the laws of our land with their illegal mining activities. And so he's given the green light. If you find anything against her, go ahead and prosecute. Bernard, what do you say to this? A step in the right direction?
Well, good pronouncement and typical of President Akufo-Addo. He makes good pronouncement, but the action is always at variance with the pronouncement. And so saying that publicly does not mean that that is what he actually intends. Because there are many instances he has said something and he's acted opposite of it. This is a president who said that we are going to do Ghana beyond aid, and he's flying everywhere, capping and begging for aid. So that certainly is not a nation that is building on the basis of no aid. And so when he comes to tell us that he's going to prosecute Aisha Huang, we certainly cannot trust him, because over the past, he has not shown capacity, he has not shown competence in handling things that he himself had made pronouncement about. And so that becomes a major thing. But I think that is a good pronouncement. It's a good call to say that we should prosecute. Because I have had cause to say that we have prosecuted Ghanaians who have gone to want to find something out of their own land so that they can survive. We have people who have obtained masters and other qualifications because there is no opportunity for them to survive in life. They have found themselves in the bush. They are trying to unearth something so that they can live. When we go there, we brutalize them. Right? We brutalize them. Some come with broken fractures. And then we even take them to court. We have incarcerated thousands of Ghanaians because they have gone into their own land. And when it comes to the issue of foreigners, and in the case of Aisha Huang, we decided that we would deport her on the first instance. And then we were told by the Osafo Mafo that, look, we deported her because, one, with Sino
Hydro deal.
Yeah, Sino Hydro infrastructure, and therefore we didn't want to jeopardize it. And that by keeping Aisha Huang in our cells, he will not be happy, and he doesn't think that any Ghanaian should be happy. And I keep asking the question, the thousands of Ghanaian youth, thousands of the women that we have incarcerated, does that make Osafo Mafo happy? I am not happy, because those people, if there was an alternative to going into the forest to risk their lives, they would not have gone there. The fact that the state has failed to provide them an alternative is the reason for which they find themselves there. And you are happy that Ghanaians should be imprisoned whilst foreigners can be deported to go home. Why didn't you tell those Ghanaians that you arrested from the side that go to wherever you come from and say no more? And so that is the challenge. It is a good call from President Akufo-Addo to say, look, I am in full support.
But you don't trust that they can see.
I don't trust that.
But he did admit that deporting Aisha Huang at one point was a mistake.
Osafo Mafo was a senior minister. Today, Osafo Mafo is his presidential advisor. And therefore, if tomorrow Osafo Mafo decides to go and advise the president, or the Sino Hydro deal is no more in place, if the Chinese support for our infrastructure is still in place, will Osafo Mafo still hold the same view that we should not do anything because it has the potency to jeopardize our relationship with China, and that may affect the infrastructure work that is going on in our country? If you advise President Akufo-Addo, will the president keep quiet and say, Attorney General, look, find a way to go and file wrong charges so that the case can be dismissed?
Ernest, was Aisha Huang really deported without escorts, like it's being alleged by the North Tongue MP, Samu Kudjeto Ablakwa? He's made some very damning allegations against, your government and how you even handled the whole Aisha Huang deportation matter. What do you say?
Bella, first of all, I cannot deny or confirm same of the statement made by Honorable Kudjeto Ablakwa because I'm not part of the security setup. I do not have access to how she was deported, and I cannot speak to it on this show.
Okay.
And I don't know the source of his information, but if he's just conjecturing and inviting us into the realm of speculation, then let me say he has failed, because I don't know where he's coming from. And he could have helped all of us by putting out the evidences, if he had same, to support what he's saying.
But are you not concerned about this statement that's been put out there? Because again, if you're not responding to it, it leaves room for conjecture. At what point are you all going to respond to these claims?
The appropriate persons will speak to it. I do not have the evidence, and I do not know how the person was deported. So I cannot sit on your show.
Calling that he has failed.
I said that if he is not putting out the evidences and he's inviting us to a realm of speculation, then he has failed. Because I will not go into that realm to discuss that.
But he's an MP of high repute. Would he just put anything out there?
He's put out a lot of things that are certainly not true.
Like
just
what?
Last week, he put out a publication that the presidential jet was in France,
yeah.
and he was saying that some other persons were using it.
That wasn't true?
It wasn't true. He put out a publication that it wasn't true. It's out there for maintenance.
The president candidate
for Bernard. Just let us.
Hold on.
You understand?
Bernard. Okay.
So
hold on.
He doesn't have that credibility as you want us to believe in. But my point is, I will not go to attack him or deny what he's saying, because I also have the facts to speak to that matter. But let me say that whatever President Akufo-Addo has said is not only a good call, but it is also important, it is refreshing, and it is quite assuring. Because when this Aisha Huang matter came, almost everybody drifted towards Osafo Mafu's statement. And people that, I think last week we were on this show discussing same matter. And the argument then was that, Osafo Mafu made this statement about Sino-Hydro, and for them, that was the reason why Aisha Huang was deported. So for the president to come out, for him to give us such an assurance, it is quite refreshing for us to know that he's still committed towards the fight and he knows what he is about. Today, as we speak, President Mahama, I think as of yesterday, from the statement I heard, he said, during his time, he deported about 5,000 Chinese people, although the numbers are not true, as he put out there. But what you and I should know, or as I put out on this show, is that deporting the Chinese or such foreign nationals are also part of the measures to rid ourselves of foreigners that are invading our mining sector as well. Although it is not punitive enough, or one may argue that it is not punitive enough, but for the president to put out such a call is to confirm that, yes, we may criticize Honorable Osafo Mafu's statement, but you cannot construe that to be the basis of which the government deported Aisha Huang.
But he was asked about it, and that was the explanation that he gave.
He was asked about it.
The president did not deny.
Bernard.
The president came and said it was a mistake.
The president criticized it that it was a mistake.
No.
Yeah, he did not criticize the statement.
You think that they can deport somebody of that stature without the knowledge of the president?
Bella, I believe if Amaliba...
Make your statement so that lawyer can come in as well. I've already been counted down.
You understand?
Okay.
So the statement cannot be construed. I believe, you can condemn it for all that you want, that is in bad taste, whatever. But you cannot construe that to be the position of government that is the purpose or the reason why Aisha Huang was deported.
Government senior-most minister comes out to make this statement, and you're saying that you cannot say that reflects the decision that was made?
Was he in an official position to do that?
He was a senior minister.
He was a senior minister.
He's in charge of all the ministers.
He was a senior minister speaking at a forum where he was asked a specific question. He answered.
Was he speaking at the forum on behalf of the government of Ghana?
He was speaking at a forum. And that forum was a business and an economic forum.
What was he there representing? The government or his own self?
He was there to speak about the economy, and he was there.
So he represented the government at that point?
Yeah, definitely.
And you don't think that any statement that he made...
He was asked a specific question. He answered. You could criticize the statement in itself or condemn the statement, but you cannot constitute that to mean the basis of which Aisha Huang was deported. How different is Aisha Huang from the supposed 5,000 people that President Mahama deported, or the supposed other people that were deported? So today, if we have the opportunity,
as to why we need to have that bilateral relation between Ghana and China, which is why
nobody gave any excuses of that. I'm saying that it is part of the authorities that the state can exercise.
Okay.
That's why last week I told you that among the mandates that President Mahama gave the interministerial committee, Bernard,
okay,
that he gave the interministerial committee was to confiscate equipment and also to deport foreigners.
Okay.
You understand? So if same is exercised under President Mahama, you don't go and say that for a statement that was made by Honorable Osafo Mafu is the reason why she was deported.
Pardon me, let me give lawyer equal time so you can also speak on this and we'll wrap up.
Let me say emphatically that Okudzeto Ablakwa has incredible credentials. And his credibility is not in doubt. Indeed, his tracking of the president's ostentatious travels is a subject matter that all Ghanaians are always talking about. So his credentials are impeccable. Now, with Aisha Huang. Aisha Huang was arrested two weeks ago, something like that.
We are not even sure.
Yeah, but he was this recent arrest.
The regional minister says that she was arrested 3 days after she got into the country, or 2 days.
But
so we're not sure which is which.
Okay, so this arrest.
How long he's been in the country?
Aisha Huang was arrested like a week ago.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, yes.
Okay. A week or a little over a week ago. Now.
Bella,
hold on, please allow lawyer. We don't have time.
She was arrested 3 days when she got into the country.
That's a different matter.
That's a different matter.
Before then, she got a new Ghana card.
Let's
now,
the question to ask is, why did the president wait this long to speak? I'm asking this question because the Chinese embassy issued a statement 4 days ago saying that any of its citizens, if they are found doing anything wrong, must face the law. Is it on the strength of that the president now spoke? Because I have told you that there are some presidents in this country and in Africa who are like village headsmen. They are not on their own. So, you remember that the reason for which they refused to prosecute him here was they were afraid of this Sino-Hydro thing against China. Now, because the Chinese embassy, you see the angle I'm coming, because the Chinese embassy then spoke and gave the green light, our president had to follow.
How?
Is that really the case?
That's the case.
Because
last week,
didn't you
hear Governor Adami saying that he's going to prosecute Aisha Huang?
Hold on, yes, he did say that. Yes. But the allegations were even by Honorable Samuel. There was no communication between the government of Ghana and the government of China at that point when we were deporting Aisha. It was after 2 days.
I am saying that the senior minister says that there is an agreement, Sino-Hydro program. If we deal with Aisha Huang, we will lose it. And I'm saying that this time round, the reason why the government, Akufo-Addo, went ahead to speak, because me, when I'm coming to this program, the night before I don't sleep, it is after this I'll go back and sleep. So I have thought deep.
What did you
do?
And the thinking is that, why is the president now?
Okay, so you people have been giving topics ahead.
Why is it the president? All this while, when they arrested the woman, she never spoke. But only spoke when the Chinese embassy issued a statement and said that we have given you the green light, prosecute anybody.
I mean, so what do you make of Governor Adami's statement last week?
He's not on his own because of that?
Oh, yes. The Chinese people are controlling. Now, look at this.
So what do you make of
Could it be that he was waiting for the right time to speak?
Bella, I don't think.
Now, look at this.
Bella.
Now, look at this.
I don't think
Allow him. I have only a minute to go.
No, but this is not fair.
No, but that's what I'm asking.
Godfred Odami last week.
Hold on.
Godfred Odami
we don't have time. Otherwise, we'll have to wrap up on this.
But he's misrepresenting the issues.
And I've asked him a question on it, so relax.
So correct him. Because
let him keep quiet. Now, this is the point.
He said Bernard Mona said.
Bernard Mona said something, which is true. That there's no way such a high-profile person will be deported without the tacit knowledge of the president.
Yeah.
It's not happened. Look, when the president wanted us to go to IMF, with all the shenanigans of his finance minister, didn't we go? We went. So if the president had not tacitly agreed to that, he would have countered them and said, prosecute the man here.
But that's why I said it was a mistake now.
What mistake?
We have to wrap up at this point.
It was not true.
We have to wrap up at this point. My time is that we have to go, gentlemen. I don't have the time.
Immediately she was arrested. Godfred Odami said that.
Exactly, he has said that already. Okay, thank you so much. Bernard Mona is the former chairman of the PNC. Ernest Yakumi is a member of the NPP communications team. And lawyer Abraham Amaliba is the director of legal affairs for the NDC. Coco, do we have messages or should we just go ahead? All right. Well, after the break, we have an exclusive with former President John Dramani Mahama. We started airing it on Ghana Tonight yesterday with Alfred Ekanse. If you missed it, right after this break, we're going to replay that interview for you, the full length of it. And so keep watching. This is TV3 New Day. We'll be right back.